Hi, I'm Camille. I'm an awakening and ascending light worker who's finding her path. I am being guided to start making videos against my nature. I don't necessarily want to be doing this, but I am practicing surrendering. So this video is on being a good listener. It's a mantra that I've had going through my head for months now. I actually gave it out as a piece of advice to someone, half joking, to someone on my Facebook page, one of my friends. And of course, anytime you give out advice, that's exactly what you yourself need to hear. And so it kept ringing in my head, be a good listener, be a good listener. And I want to sort of dive into that because I think that as we are awakening and growing in these spiritual concepts and finding truth outside of the matrix, I guess, it can be tempting to sort of stay in the intellectual sphere, to be gathering a lot of information online and through books and through community platforms like social media, and just engaging it through your mind and through your intellect, as opposed to really grounding it into the experience and living it out in your daily life. For example, you could be reading that it's better for yourself to forgive, right? That you can't really move forward in your life until you forgive. But it's a different thing to read that versus to actually look in your life and see, who am I holding resentment towards? Who am I if I forgive this person who did me wrong 35 years ago and I've been holding on to it? Those are two very different things, and your soul is going to guide you to do the soul work. I don't think any of us were brought to this information just to absorb the information alone. I think we were brought to it so that we could awaken, heal ourselves, integrate our shadows, and help others. So your soul is always speaking to you. I think there is sometimes confusion when we're starting out on the path as to, what does that mean? Like, okay, like I know I'm supposed to forgive, but like I don't hear anything. And I'm supposed to be hearing all this guidance. I don't hear anything. Sometimes when you're starting out, some people have clairaudience right away, and they are just hearing voices all the time, and they're clairvoyant and they're seeing visions all the time, and that was not the case for me, so I can only speak as to my experience. But I think that's the case for a lot of people, where we don't necessarily spontaneously have this clear communication and the angels singing to us and things like that sometimes. So if you're in that camp, I think maybe that's why you're watching this video. And when I say that your guides speak to you, it can mean synchronicities. It can mean seeing the same thing randomly, like over and over and over again. It's like, I've never seen this many yellow cars in my life. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing them everywhere. It can be a thought that pops into your head again and again and again that you just can't shake. Maybe you drive past a community college on your commute, and it popped into your head one day, I should take a night class. What would that be like? So I could study this thing I've always thought about. And then, okay, yeah, you dismiss it, but then the thought keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back. That's one way that your soul does speak to you. Let's say that you keep having weird coincidences. Of course, there is no such thing as a coincidence, right? It's a synchronicity. There is a person in my life, to use a real example, there is a person in my life who used to take for granted going out and getting a perfectly fine haircut. He could, go to any barber in town, every 2 weeks, he could get exactly what he was looking for, the style that he was looking for, and be totally happy. He moved to a different region in the same state, a different town in the same state, a few years back, and he has not been able to find a decent barber. No one in this area for years has been able to give him the kind of haircut that he's worn his whole life. And it's not anything fancy, it's not anything crazy. It's like, he'll relate to me his experience, and he's like, all of a sudden, like, everyone forgot how to use scissors, and all of a sudden nobody knows how to do a fade, and and it's like, I think your soul's trying to talk to you about something, because it just seems really weird that all of a sudden, for years, you can't find someone to do your hair to save your life. And so finally I told him, I said, maybe it's that, maybe it's that you need to think really long and hard about who touches your crown, because, your hair is your sacred antenna. I know for me, it really opened up my crown chakra. It really opened me up when I cleaned up my hair routine. That was actually one of the first things I was guided to do before I even fully awakened, was to get away from the chemicals. And I see why. That's why I was able to awaken, is because I listened to that first bit of guidance, which is, hey, maybe stop putting that shit on your hair. And then, more light was able to come in. And so, I said this to him, like, maybe they're not supposed to be putting their hands and putting their energy on your sacred antenna. And he was like, oh, yeah. Then a couple of weeks later, it's, I'm going to go out and try to get another fucking haircut. It's like, okay. Everyone is free to make their sovereign choices. Everyone's walking their path, and it's honored. And I'm not necessarily saying he's wrong. He's walking his path. Who am I to sit here and say anyone's wrong? I just find it to be a really interesting lesson for me, to watch how people resist their guidance, how people resist the communication when they're not even fully aware that that's what they're doing. Because your communication is coming in to help you, to put you on a different path. Let's say, back to the example of driving past the community college and thinking, what if I took a night class? What if you enrolled? Maybe try it. Tell yourself, I don't necessarily have to complete anything. Let me just enroll and start going and see what happens. That's how I get myself to the gym. It's like, I don't necessarily have to go and do the grandest workout, but let me just get there. And then, of course, always, when you get there, I get into it, and I can and I can power through. But by making these decisions to do something different, to follow that little voice that's been nagging at you to do something, you bring in fresh energy into your field. And you bring in the opportunity for miracles to happen. You don't know what's going to happen to you because you decided to enroll in one class at a community college, but find out, because your soul really wants only the best for you. It's you wanting the best for you. So don't fight you, is the advice that I'm giving myself in this now moment, that I guess somebody else needs to hear. So, be a good listener. Let's see, what else wants to come through for that? It's sometimes we get a little discouraged thinking, well, I've been thinking about enrolling in community college for years, and I haven't done it. And then, let's say the community college closed or something, like that, and I feel like I lost my chance. And sometimes that can be discouraging to people. I'm reminded that I can't watch it anymore, but I used to watch the show Hoarders, and it was really interesting to me how sometimes the people who were hoarding and had so much stuff cluttering up their homes, sometimes they were perfectionists at heart, where it's like, I don't even know where to begin because I need to do it right. And so I'm afraid that if I start and fail, that I just won't be able to live with myself. So I can't even start to clean out this home and clean up this mess, because it's the fear of failure that's holding me back. And to that, I would say imperfect progress is better for you than perfect stagnation. And let's say I haven't been the best listener in the past. Let's say you haven't been the best listener in the past. It's no reason to beat yourself up, because your guidance system is like the GPS navigation on your phone or in your car. It's trying to get you to a particular destination. It's pointing you in a particular, to a particular spot. And it's guiding you. It's giving you directions. Take exit 2A. And let's say you miss exit 2A. What does it do? It reroutes you. It's going to say, okay, you didn't take exit 2A, take exit 2B. Let's say you keep going and going and going for miles. It doesn't stop rerouting you. It's still trying to get you to your destination. Even if, because you weren't listening 15 miles ago, now we got to go drive through the hood. And now, you got to wait at these railroad tracks. And now we got to, now you have to hit a toll road and pay some money. And there may be complications and additional factors because you weren't listening to the directions the first time. But it's still ultimately working in your best interest and working to serve you. Your soul guidance is working to serve you. And that's something that I, in this now moment, I absorb into my own field. My soul guidance is always here to serve me. And so I guess I'm making videos now. If there's anything that you particularly want opinions on, I'm not saying that my opinion is, is like gold, but I've noticed on, in the Facebook groups that I'm in, a lot of people hop on and they say, hey, who has opinions about this? And I want some feedback about that spiritual concept and this idea, and I'm wrestling with this and this. If there's something that, like that's on your mind, feel free to leave a comment, and I may make a video about it. Hopefully, spark some ideas to get you closer to your own truth. So, that being said, I hope to see you again. Much love to you.